It's been a while. I'm back.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another GingerRunner.com review. I am so excited to be back reviewing gear in the new year. Happy 2018. I hope you've gotten off to a great start. Today, we are reviewing a shoe that you have been asking for quite some time from Hoka the Challenger ATR 4, aka the Mudfest. Yeah, that thing is nasty. Okay, before I even get into reviewing the shoe, I've had some fun recently going back and watching some of my reviews from yesteryear. There's been this long time discussion of is it pronounced Hoka or Hoka 11. A little bit of history as a reviewer of the shoes. Early on, it was Hoka when it came to the United States, but then the marketing team changed it to Hoka 11. Not sure why, but I assume it's because it was easier to pronounce here in the States. Well, after years of pronouncing it Hoka 11, they changed it back to Hoka which I believe was the original intended pronunciation, especially knowing the origins of those words. So when I've gone back and watched the reviews where I pronounce it various ways because that is how it was pronounced at that moment in time, it's funny to read the comments because people get seriously upset about it. If there's any question, come back to this video and you'll get an explanation. But of course, I don't know how they're going to pronounce it in years to come. But for now, it's Hoka but for simplicity's sake, we'll just call them Hokas. Secondly, these shoes are dirty. In fact, almost every pair of shoes that I review is dirty. I do this on purpose because I use the shoes. I use them a lot. I use them outdoors, in mud, in rain, on dusty trails. There are plenty of shiny shoe porn pics across the internet. You can go find the perfectly manicured shoe shots. But I've always intended to show you exactly how the shoes will end up looking on your shoe rack. And in most cases, it's going to be dirty, used, and abused. The Challenger ATR 4 is absolutely no exception. It's been about a month since I've reviewed some gear, so let's get into this thing. Pardon the rust. The Challenger ATR 4 is the new version of one of my favorite trail shoes of all time, the Hoka Challenger ATR. Challenger ATR version 1 was one of my favorite trail shoes, ran my first 100 in that shoe. Version 2 was a bit heftier, less durable. Version 3, a little bit heavier, a little more durable, had some interesting changes. So how does the Challenger version 4 stack up to the previous version? Well, it's awesome, first and foremost. Pretty much an entirely new upper, a different mesh material, different lacing system that comprises the mesh material, a little bit wider up in the forefoot, a little bit lighter, which is nice. Some new welded overlays, just a little bit different design overall. The fit and feel is very similar to previous versions, if not a little bit stiffer. I'll get to that all in this review. Overall, it's fun. With all of my reviews, I like to talk about the things I like and dislike about the shoe. We always start with things that I like. So let's do it, shall we? The Challenger ATR 4 is wider, right where it needs to be. I think Hoka has been listening. It felt like their shoes were getting narrower, and frankly, it was becoming quite uncomfortable up there in the toe box. Just trying to get a proper fit in the shoe was really difficult. But the Challenger 4 has managed to increase the width here just across the forefoot. I'm guessing a couple of millimeters, but it's enough to give your foot a little bit of room to breathe. It is very helpful for that fit and certainly helps for those long days on the trail where your feet begin to swell. You need that little bit of extra wiggle room. Durability. This new mesh upper, I was a little wary at first pulling it out of the box. I was like, oh, this is gonna be super sensitive. It might bust through really early, but it's holding up very well. I have nearly 100 miles in these shoes so far, and they don't even look scuffed up. Yes, they're very dirty, but if I were to throw this thing through the washing machine, you'd look at it and go, it's barely worn. I really do hope that holds true for hundreds of miles. It would be great if this shoe managed to hold up. Hoka is listening. So just the width, the durability, all of those things, all of the concerns that a lot of people had in version 3, many viewers expressed those problems with that previous version to myself, and also they talked about emailing Hoka and complaining with them. Hoka has been listening. They've been making the changes and shaping the shoe to what people are wanting, and I think that's great. I know that's very difficult for shoe brands, especially as they get bigger and bigger to do, but the shoe is lighter by about ½ an ounce, seems to be a bit more durable, to be a bit wider. So far, those are all good things pointing in the right direction. So yes, I think they're doing a lot of really great things to improve this version. Yes, now let's talk about the things that I dislike. There's only a couple of them, and we'll make them brief and quick. The stiffness. Not sure if they've changed the EVA, but for some reason this shoe feels a lot stiffer, not only in cushion, but in last. So for those of you who are looking for a more responsive trail running shoe, this could be a fit for you. It certainly gives you a bit of a snap, but a lot less absorption than I was used to. And as the temperature changes, obviously if it gets colder, the shoe started to feel a bit more like concrete compared to other shoes. Of course, the more wear, things get a little bit softer, yada yada. But the stiffness was a factor. It's opening the box to now, even after about 100 miles. So the shoe has not necessarily worn in as much as I'd hoped. And lacing. I like the new lacing system. I don't know how much it actually grips around your midfoot with all the additional webbing elements that can combine here across the midfoot. But the problem is just in overall fit. I find myself really having to crank down on those laces, having to readjust on the fly a number of times just to get the fit to be proper. You can even see now the laces are quite close together. Everything else in the shoe fits fine. I just find myself really having to crank down. That bugs me, because what happens if the material stretches so much that I'm no longer able to get a good proper midfoot fit? So that actually wraps up my dislikes. There's not many. It's the stiffness and the lacing and the midfoot fit. So version 4 of the Challenger from Hoka is a delight. So let's get on with the points, shall we? We always start with quality. This one, 4 out of 5. Solid quality shoe. I'm not having many issues at this point. I wish it was a little bit softer. Overall, 4 out of 5, solid score. Comfort, I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 as well, just because it is able to do long runs and I still enjoy it, but it is a borderline 3 out of 5. I'm gonna round up to 4 out of 5. Price at $130. I'll get to why in a second, but I'm thinking that's a bit high at this point. I know that that's been the price that the shoe has been in since its inception, but I think Hoka has created something I like a little bit better. It's still very early to tell, but it's at a cheaper price point, which does wonders for me. So I'm gonna give this 3 out of 5 on price. And finally, looks. I will give it 4 out of 5. I think the black and orange is actually pretty cool. It's not hiding the mud very well in the midsole, but it certainly does a good job of hiding it up in the upper. Bringing our grand total to 15 out of 20 for the Hoka One Challenger ATR 4. That is a solid score. I am very curious as to what your thoughts are on this shoe. Many of you have probably already run in it. It's been on the market for a while now. So in the comments of this video, let me know, have you run in the Challenger ATR 4? What do you think? Is it something that you would even be interested in? So is it a buy, try, or a why? I'm gonna say try for sure, possibly buy, but there's another little gem up Hoka's sleeve that might be of interest. There's a fun little surprise from these guys just around the corner. I've got my foot in it, I've gotten a couple runs in it, and if you want to know what the Challenger version 1 felt like in a more modern package, a little bit more width and durability, then the Nepali might be something that tickles your fancy. Got some outsoles and all that stuff. I might be showing that a little too early for you guys, but I'm getting excited about it, and it's cheaper. 3 words for you: light, cushioned, affordable. So Challenger, I've always had a keen eye for you, but oof, doth my eye a wonder. So stay tuned for that review. That will be coming to this channel, of course, as well. So that is it for my review of the Hoka One Challenger ATR 4. I am so excited for this new year. There are going to be tons of reviews coming every single week. As promised, Where Dreams Go to Die, my brand new film, is coming to you here very soon. If you like this review, you want to see more, you want to see those films, subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you click the like, click the subscribe notification button, subscribe across social media networks, and if you want to help support the channel, you can do so on Patreon, patreon.com/thegingerrunner. For as little as $1 a month, you get cool perks. Woof, but that's it for today's review. Excited to be back. Hope you guys are too. Get out there, train hard, race harder, and party the hardest. I know I am. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.